The story begins by establishing the setting and introducing the two main characters, Zephyra, an alien ruler, and the mysterious human who presents himself as her devoted servant. The narrative opens in a remote and desolate world within the Midraxis cluster, a location carefully chosen to reflect isolation and vulnerability, both politically and emotionally, for Zephyra. She is a seasoned leader, confident in her experience, knowledge, and authority, accustomed to commanding subordinates who serve out of obligation, fear, or desire for personal gain. This introduction immediately sets up a contrast between Zephyra's expectations of loyalty and what is about to arrive. A human who serves purely out of devotion, not self-interest. The arrival of the human is marked by a sense of mystery and anticipation. The shuttle bay doors opening and the human stepping out are described almost ceremoniously, highlighting the gravity of his presence. Unlike any other being she has encountered, this human kneels immediately at her feet and declares, "I exist only to serve you, Master." This is significant because the gesture of kneeling and the phrase "exist only to serve" are completely foreign concepts to Zephyra's culture. In her experience, being served for rewards, recognition, or status, the human's proclamation is radical. He offers himself entirely without any expectation beyond her acknowledgement. This creates immediate tension in Zephyra, as she cannot reconcile her understanding of loyalty with the human's pure, selfless devotion. Zephyra's reaction is central to the narrative of Part 1. She is both intrigued and confused by the human's behavior. Her surprise is not just a plot device, it reflects a deeper thematic element of HFY stories. Humans possess qualities that alien species find difficult or impossible to predict. The story emphasizes that she feels no immediate warmth or gratitude from having such a loyal companion, which underscores her alien perspective. To her, devotion is transactional, not inherent. Her internal struggle is revealed through her questioning. Why? Do you seek to serve me? This question highlights her skepticism and sets the stage for the emotional arc of the story, where human loyalty challenges her understanding of relationships, authority, and trust. The human's unwavering response, "Because you are my master. My existence is devoted to ensuring your safety, your will, and your success," reinforces the extraordinary nature of human loyalty. It establishes the human as a character who is selfless, disciplined, and unshakably devoted. A stark contrast to the typical alien interactions Zephyra is accustomed to. The story carefully positions the human not merely as a subordinate, but as a mirror reflecting qualities. Zephyra lacks absolute trust, simplicity in purpose, and willingness to sacrifice self-interest. As Part 1 progresses, the human's actions begin to demonstrate competence beyond mere words. He anticipates Zephyra's needs, performs tasks before being asked, and operates with precision that suggests both intelligence and instinctive understanding. The story emphasizes that these abilities are not intended to impress her in a conventional way. Rather, they highlight a human trait that Zephyra cannot control or predict. This is critical because it establishes the central tension. She possesses authority and power, but she is confronted with a being whose devotion challenges her emotionally and philosophically. The part ends with a pivotal moment. The human asks, "Why do you reject me?" This question encapsulates the story's emotional core. Unlike traditional servitude, this human seeks acknowledgement, not dominance or reward. Zephyra experiences a rare, almost alien form of responsibility, the responsibility of being worthy of loyalty. Her hesitation is both internal and cultural, reflecting centuries of conditioning as a ruler. This moment marks the first spark of introspection and doubt in Zephyra, setting up the foundation for the story's subsequent parts, where she will explore loyalty, trust, and the meaning of service in the context of human qualities. Shifts the narrative from introduction to interaction, showing how Zephyra begins to grapple with the human's unwavering devotion. The focus moves from mere astonishment at the human's presence to active engagement with his abilities and character. The story emphasizes both human capability and the alien perception of loyalty, creating tension, intrigue, and a deeper exploration of HFY themes humans' unpredictability, their instinctive competence, and their emotional complexity. After Part 1 establishes the human as a devoted and competent servant, Part 2 explores how Zephora tests him. The tests are not merely physical, they are multifaceted, designed to examine obedience, intelligence, adaptability, and moral judgment. This sequence is important because it demonstrates that loyalty alone is not enough. Competence and judgment are equally crucial, especially in a high-stakes interstellar environment. By presenting a series of deliberate tests, the story also allows the reader to see human strengths in contrast to alien expectations. The first test is physical. Zephora orders the human to retrieve a rare crystal from a treacherous cliffside, a task designed to challenge agility, strength, and courage. This scene illustrates human daring and resilience. While alien species often rely on technology or sheer numbers, humans in the story use intuition, adaptability, and instinct. The human completes the task flawlessly, returning unscathed with the crystal in hand. More than just proving physical prowess, this act demonstrates discipline and an unwavering commitment to fulfilling Zephora's commands, regardless of personal risk. The human's calm and precise actions impress Zephora, but she deliberately withholds praise, testing both his reaction and her own response to someone serving without expectation of reward. Next, Zephora challenges the human intellectually. She sends coded messages and complex problems designed to confuse or trap other beings. The human solves each problem quickly and with insight that surprises her. This test highlights the HFY theme of humans as intellectually flexible, able to combine logic, intuition, and creativity in ways alien species struggle to predict. The human's ability to anticipate her needs, even in abstract challenges, underscores the idea that human loyalty is not blind obedience, is coupled with intelligence, awareness, and judgment. This combination makes the human uniquely valuable, showing Zephora that true devotion requires competence, not just servility. Finally, she tests his moral judgment, giving commands that conflict with ethical or practical considerations. The human hesitates only momentarily, consulting her gaze, for choosing a course that upholds her values while executing her instructions. This moment is critical because it differentiates him from a mindless servant or a mere tool. He understands consequences and weighs choices while maintaining loyalty. It demonstrates that human service is active, thoughtful, and principled, a form of devotion that elevates both the servant and the master. Zephora experiences a growing internal conflict. Admiration, fear, and confusion swirl together as she begins to realize that this human is unlike any subordinate she has ever commanded. The emotional climax of Part 2 comes during a quiet moment on a cliff overlooking a stormy ocean. The human's question, "Why do you continue when I neither reward nor acknowledge you?" forces Zephora to confront feelings she has long suppressed. Unlike alien subjects who obey out of fear, ambition, or compulsion, this human seeks acknowledgement, not coercion. His devotion is not transactional. It is relational, ethical, and deeply personal. This question challenges Zephora's worldview, making her realize that she is not used to being needed in this way. She is confronted with responsibility, not just for leadership or survival, but for validating the loyalty and purpose of another being. Part 2 also serves to establish the dynamic between the human and Zephora. The human is not submissive in the traditional sense. He is disciplined, thoughtful, and capable. Yet his entire purpose revolves around her, creating a tension that drives the story forward. Zephora is both intrigued and unsettled. She cannot predict his reactions because they do not conform to alien norms. This unpredictability, coupled with competence and ethical intelligence, embodies the HFY concept of humans as extraordinary in ways that surpass conventional alien understanding. Marks a dramatic turning point in the story, transitioning from tests of loyalty and capability to the crucible of real danger. Up until now, Zephora has observed the human's skills and devotion in controlled circumstances, physical, intellectual, and ethical trials designed to measure his worth. However, the first battle presents an authentic, unpredictable, and high-stakes environment that forces both Zephyra and her human companion to confront reality. Their abilities, trust, and connection must withstand life-or-death circumstances. The story introduces external conflict. Through the sudden arrival of raiders from a rival sector, these aggressors are not merely a threat to Zephyra's territory. They are emblematic of the galaxy's constant chaos, emphasizing that authority alone is not sufficient for survival. The raiders assume that Zephyra's fortress, and by extension her rule, is vulnerable, as it is not yet known that she commands a human of extraordinary ability. This sets the stage for tension and dramatic revelation. The aliens underestimate humans, which is a recurring HFY theme. Humans are frequently dismissed as weak or predictable, only to reveal their astonishing adaptability and strength under pressure. The humans' response to the battle demonstrates the combination of physical prowess, strategic thinking, and instinctive bravery that alien species find incomprehensible. Unlike traditional soldiers or robotic defenses, he does not merely follow orders, he anticipates threats, rescues trapped officers, and intercepts attacks with precision and foresight. This scene highlights several key aspects of the human as a character. Physical superiority and reflexes. The human moves faster and with more precision than even trained alien soldiers, neutralizing hazards that would overwhelm conventional forces. This emphasizes a core HFY motif. Humans possess an innate versatility and resilience that cannot be entirely replicated or predicted by other species. Moral discipline and judgment. He prioritizes saving lives, including those of alien officers who may not fully trust him, demonstrating that his loyalty to Zephyra does not negate his ethical sense. This underscores the depth of human morality. Loyalty is not blind. It is guided by judgment, responsibility, and a recognition of greater consequences. Unwavering devotion. Even in extreme danger, the human's focus remains on serving and protecting Zephyra. This consistent purpose contrasts sharply with alien expectations of loyalty, which are often transactional or opportunistic. The human's behavior embodies the HFY theme that humans can combine extraordinary devotion with independence, judgment, and initiative. From Zephyra's perspective, the battle is transformative. She experiences fear not for herself, but for the human, and at the same time, awe at his capabilities. This duality is crucial because it challenges her understanding of leadership and mastery. Zephyra is used to commanding others who serve out of obligation or self-interest, but here she witnesses a being who serves entirely from choice and competence. Her perception of strength, loyalty, and service is expanded, preparing her for the emotional and philosophical realizations that will unfold in later parts. The aftermath of the battle reinforces the thematic core of Part 3. The human returns unharmed, kneels before her and asks, "Did I serve you well, Master?" This question is simple, yet profound. It demonstrates that his ultimate goal is not self-glorification or recognition by the galaxy, but the approval of Zephyra. Here, the story emphasizes that service is more than obedience. It is relational, requiring mutual recognition of worth. Zephyra's internal reaction, hesitation, amazement, and eventual acknowledgments signals a pivotal shift in her character. She begins to understand that the human is not just a tool, protector, or subordinate. He is a being whose loyalty demands emotional engagement and moral acknowledgement. Moreover, Part 3 highlights a recurring motif in HFY storytelling: humans as a species defying alien expectations. The raiders assume superiority, expecting Zephyra's forces to falter. Yet the human's intervention demonstrates that human strength, physical, mental, and moral, cannot be measured or dismissed by conventional standards. It is both practical and symbolic. The human protects, elevates, and challenges the alien ruler simultaneously. Redefining what it means to serve and to be a master represents the emotional climax of the story and serves as the turning point in Zephyra's perception of the human. Up to this stage, she has observed his devotion, tested his loyalty, and witnessed his extraordinary competence in battle. Yet despite all his actions, she has struggled with a psychological and cultural barrier. The inability to fully accept someone who serves entirely without expectation. This part focuses on Zephyr's internal conflict. Her growing awareness of human loyalty as something different from anything her species has known, and the subtle transformation that occurs when genuine connection begins to emerge. The narrative begins with a quiet period following the battle. Zephora, a ruler accustomed to authority and control, now finds herself in a state of introspection. She observes the human constantly, not as a servant to command, but as a being whose devotion challenges her own emotional defenses. This pause is crucial. It emphasizes that leadership is not only about commanding armies or ruling territories, but also about understanding, valuing, and nurturing relationships. The story highlights that human loyalty is not transactional. It is relational, requiring acknowledgement and emotional engagement from the one being served. Zephora notices subtle behaviors in the human: anticipation of her needs, quiet attention, and the unwavering calm that follows him like a shadow. These traits, while previously observed in isolated trials or the heat of battle, now take on a different meaning. They are not feats to be tested or measured. They are expressions of trust and devotion that demand emotional recognition. This realization forces Zephora to confront feelings she has long suppressed: vulnerability, responsibility, and even the fear of failing to meet the human's expectations. The key scene in this part occurs in the training hall, where Zephora enters, expecting to issue commands. Instead, she finds the human already prepared, having anticipated her arrival. This moment symbolizes the human's intuitive understanding of her needs and routines, representation of the depth of his devotion. He does not act out of compulsion or fear, but because he seeks to serve and to earn her recognition. His question, "Why do you hesitate to claim me, master?" is both innocent and profound. It forces Zephora to articulate the emotions she has been avoiding. Her response, because I do not know what I feel," is pivotal. It reveals the heart of her struggle. Centuries of experience as a ruler have taught her to suppress emotion, to prioritize logic, strategy, and authority. Yet, confronted with the human's unwavering loyalty, she experiences an unfamiliar combination of awe, guilt, and hesitation. This internal conflict is central to Part 4. It highlights the alien ruler's struggle to reconcile her pride, her expectations, and her emotional capacity with the extraordinary nature of human devotion, the human's. Reaction to her hesitation further reinforces his unique character. Rather than pressuring her or expressing frustration, he steps forward with a gesture of quiet offering, symbolizing patience and understanding. This act is critical because it demonstrates that human loyalty does not require dominance or coercion. It allows the master to choose freely. The story emphasizes that the human's purpose is to serve, but he also values her recognition above all else. In this moment, Zephora begins to understand that true service is not mere obedience, but a relational exchange that elevates both parties. Part 4 also explores the theme of mutual transformation. While the human has grown to understand Zephora's needs, she, in turn, begins to see herself differently. She realizes that accepting loyalty and devotion is not a sign of weakness, but an acknowledgement of worth. The emotional barrier she has maintained, cultural, psychological, and personal, begins to crumble, revealing her capacity for trust, gratitude, and connection. The human's patience and unwavering dedication create a mirror in which she sees the value of allowing herself to be needed and appreciated. Furthermore, Part 4 underscores a recurring HFY theme: humans as catalysts for emotional and ethical growth in alien species. The human's presence challenges Zephora to reassess her understanding of power, authority, and service. His devotion is not a tool to be wielded. It is a force that inspires her to embrace vulnerability, empathy, and recognition. This interplay highlights that humans are not only physically and intellectually capable, but also uniquely transformative in interpersonal and societal contexts. In summary, Part 4 centers on emotional revelation and the breaking of barriers. Zephyra confronts her internal resistance to accepting the human's loyalty, recognizing both the challenge and the gift it represents. The human's patience, intuitive understanding, and selfless devotion create a space for genuine connection, leading Zephyra to acknowledge her feelings and embrace a new dimension of leadership and relational trust. This part sets the stage for the story's resolution, where acknowledgement becomes complete, and the bond between human and master reaches its fullest expression. Serves as the resolution and thematic culmination of the story, bringing together the narrative threads of loyalty, trust, emotional growth, and the extraordinary qualities of humans. By this stage, Zephyra has moved through astonishment, skepticism, testing, and emotional struggle. She has witnessed the human's physical skill, intellectual acuity, moral judgment, and unwavering devotion. Part 5 focuses on the full realization and acknowledgement of their bond, transforming the story from a tale of service and obedience into one about mutual recognition, personal growth, and the transformative power of human qualities. The narrative opens with a sense of reflection and recognition. Time has passed since the first battle, and Zephyra's relationship with the human has evolved from cautious observation to deep emotional understanding. Their partnership is no longer merely functional. It is relational, characterized by trust, respect, and shared purpose. The story emphasizes that humans, while capable of extraordinary feats, are not simply tools or weapons. They inspire growth and transformation in those around them. This is central to the HFY Humans Are Special theme, demonstrating that humans can impact the galaxy not only through strength or intelligence, but through ethical and emotional depth. The external world continues to play a role in highlighting human uniqueness. Zephyra and her human companion are not isolated from the galaxy's judgment. Tales of their actions, victories, and mutual loyalty begin to spread, creating a ripple effect throughout the Midraxis cluster. The story uses this external recognition to emphasize that the human's value is not contingent on power, rank, or technology alone. It is rooted in qualities that transcend conventional alien metrics. Other species observe that humans can combine courage, intellect, and moral integrity in a way that is both awe-inspiring and incomprehensible. This establishes a sense of legacy. The human's devotion has changed not only Zephyra, but also the galaxy's perception of what humans are capable of. The emotional climax occurs when Zephyra, now fully aware of her own feelings and limitations, explicitly acknowledges the human service. Her declaration, "I accept you," is brief but monumental. It signifies more than gratitude. It represents the breaking of the final emotional barrier. Zephyra has embraced vulnerability, trust, and recognition of the human as a moral and emotional equal, even while he remains devoted to her. This moment crystallizes the story's central theme. Human service is not passive. It is active, relational, and capable of eliciting growth in those they serve. By accepting him, Zephyra affirms her own worth and capacity for connection. The human's response, then, "I have served well." Master underscores the simplicity, yet profundity of human loyalty. His satisfaction is not derived from conquest, reward, or fear, but from the recognition of his master's acknowledgement. The story emphasizes that humans derive strength, purpose, and fulfillment not from dominance but from relational trust and mutual respect. This response reflects a broader HFY idea. Humans possess ethical and emotional frameworks that are alien to other species, making them uniquely capable of creating bonds that inspire transformation. The narrative also explores the symbolic dimension of their bond. The human service elevates Zephyra beyond what she could achieve through authority or fear alone. She has learned that leadership is not merely about commanding obedience, but about fostering trust, inspiring loyalty, and recognizing the humanity or sentience of those around her. The human serves as both protector and teacher, guiding Zephyra toward a deeper understanding of connection, empathy, and moral responsibility. This symbolism reinforces the HFY theme that humans' influence not just events, but cultures, ethics, and emotional growth. Part 5 concludes with a sense of completeness and quiet triumph. The human's devotion has been acknowledged. Zephyra's emotional barriers have been dismantled, and their partnership now embodies an ideal of trust, loyalty, and mutual elevation. The story closes by emphasizing that their bond is not static. It continues to shape both characters, highlighting the enduring impact of human qualities on alien minds. The galaxy itself seems to witness this transformation, reinforcing the narrative motif that humans, in their unpredictability, devotion, and moral depth, are forces that transcend conventional understanding. In summary, Part 5 resolves the central conflict of the story, Zephyra's resistance to accepting the human's loyalty. Through acknowledgement and emotional engagement, she embraces trust and vulnerability, completing her character arc. The human, in turn, fulfills his purpose not merely through service, but by inspiring growth, demonstrating competence and maintaining moral and emotional integrity. This resolution highlights the thematic pillars of the story: the transformative power of human loyalty, the unpredictability and depth of human character, and the idea that humans can elevate not only themselves, but also those around them, reshaping entire societies and perceptions across the galaxy.